Good morning, good afternoon. Trying to see where all we're going live here because I get a little confused on doing this by myself. We should be in all the places. Yeah. Instagram is the one that's a little bit harder. And I get to do extra things for that one. So I certainly hope we are. If not, beautiful souls, you have made it here for another episode of Transformation Tuesday with me, Amanda Beth. I'm with Amanda Beth Healing. I am a best-selling author. I'm an intuitive reader and a speaker. And I like to come live every Tuesday and give you some nuggets from my perspective in the world. Not that I think that my perspective is the be all end all, that's for sure. Um, but I want to share and I want you to know you're definitely not alone. And I am hoping that my girl Sarah from Holistic Gypsy I expect her to pop on live with us because we have a really, um, she has organized an amazing event this weekend and I really want her to tell you about it. So, with no further ado, let's talk about how this time of year feels. I personally, I feel like I came out of the gate. I had all these great plans. The summer was going to go this way and that way, and my plants were going to be in my garden and all of the things. And I've been chasing some health issues since the first of the year, longer than that if we want to get real about it. But um, thought we had everything under control and ready to go. And the last week, I have found myself um, kind of hiding from screen time, and also from sunlight. It's really hard to maintain a garden when you're not able to be out in the sunshine. Yeah, we've got some migraines that come in there. So working through that process and restructuring what it is that I'm able to do and thinking about when the times of the day that I do get to go do things. And I think that that kind of brings me to where we're looking at today. How we pull our pieces together and where do we go to get those pieces to pull together? You know, I love doing readings for people. Just really, it lights me up. It's what I could do all day long. That's where I have the most satisfaction in life, when everything is really coming together for me. So I just want to share that, but also the fact of all the things that are going on. The political stuff seems like it's still amping up even more. We're not even in the heat of any political stuff, but we still have that going on. And I think that it's the weight of the world, the weight of the planets, the weight of everything going on in the world. And I've done some incredible interviews. I've been helping out in the back office for the Chronic Health Collective and Chronically Healthy Life, and listening to the pearls of wisdom that so many people have. And so many of us were talking about our story. You know, you my mother would always say, you don't look under the bed unless you've hidden there yourself. Um, I think that that has a lot of merit. We we don't know how to necessarily do something until we've been through it. And talking about being a healer, being a guide, being a uh, someone who directs other people spiritually. The people that are going to best be able to do this for you are the people who have shared a similar journey. No two journeys are the same. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. But when we've been through it and we know what we're doing, and or we know what worked for us, and we're willing to help other people, and I think that that is where so many people And as I look at all the things I did in my life, why did I do them? I did them because I wanted somebody to not have to work as hard. As parents, we want our kids to have it just a little better than we did. We I personally don't want to give my kids everything because I want them to also have an appreciation, but I want them to have it easier. I want them to have things better, nicer, so that they can move for more they can move forward more easily in their lives. The same thing when I was a volunteer for so many years. I volunteered to help people do things they couldn't do themselves. As a social worker and in-home therapist, I helped people who were in some of the most difficult parts of their life find resources, find skills, find ways that they could change within themselves to become the person they wanted to be. And going through one of my biggest transitions in life and realizing the really big stuff and moving on to bigger things like spiritual healer, intuitive reader. And when I was down last weekend with, not last week, the week before, the last time I had the opportunity to read for lots of people in a row, the trending thing kept saying, one woman stopped and she said, I have had so many readings, intuitive readings, tarot readings, spiritual readings, and everything. She says, what you did for me was that you guided me. You told me what you saw, and you allowed me to understand it, what it meant to her. She says, you didn't tell me what it meant. You gave me the information so that I could make a decision. And I think this brings up, exactly what I feel the role of a healer is. A healer is someone who holds space for you while you awaken. Your inner healer that you heal yourself. And I think of this we talk about this in healing and healing terms as if healing is the be all end all. I think healing is a process that we go through on an everyday basis. You wake up and what is it that you get to do today? What is it you get to enjoy the challenge of? What is it that you get to share with another person? Those are the things that I think are so incredibly important. And that when we go to someone else, finding out where do we belong? What am I doing here? What am I here to do? What's my next step? And how do I feel grounded? And I know, I do this with my partner, with my best friend. There's times it's like, hey, what am I doing next? Those are the things we do every day. Those are people who are also guides for us. And how that's interesting. The crazy. That tells us when technology gets in the way, for me, that usually tells us that we're really on to something that's really, really important. That is important that we stick with it and that we share. And so when you find yourself asking these questions, what am I here to do? This is where having a guide is really, really helpful. And this is what it means, to have a guide they're not going to walk that path for you, but they're going to be there while you walk the path. They're not going to take your choices away from you. One of the things I like to do for people is I like to really hold their choices. And a lot of times we call them goals. What are your goals? What do you want to look at? What are the things you could do? Let's take an inventory of them. Let's see which ones feel the best, which ones look the best, which one fits the best. And a guide is not somebody who's going to create dependency. I want you to learn how to go through the steps. And so when the next challenge comes, that you're able to take a more active role in that and identify this is a challenge. These are my choices. This is what I want it to look like. This is how I want to go through my path. And also to be able to understand the people that can be there, that can help you in your path. Those are guides. We have other people in our lives that are some of those the blocks that we come across. Why do those blocks keep coming up? I know there's a image that says, the things that keep coming up in us that we don't want to deal with are the things that we didn't heal. And so sometimes those repeat patterns are an indicator of something you need to heal so that you stop bringing it toward you. That's really, really important. And so my role is not to hand you answers. My role as a guide is to help you hear your own answers, see your own solutions, and see where you can come into so many of these beautiful things in your own life. It's kind of like having your best friend, but your best friend is not always going to tell you some of the things that you need to hear. Our best friends tend to side with us. They are not always objective. Now, my bestie, she's pretty darn objective, and she tells me some of the things I don't want to hear because it's important that I do hear them. And that's kind of the role of a guide if you don't have a bestie like mine. When I talk with people, and a lot of times people come in, and one of the first questions I'm going to ask you when I do a reading for you is, what is your reference of your higher power? It's amazing the number of people that this does stump them. They're like, "Oh, I don't know, didn't know it was a choice." And I hear people answer me, and they will answer me in what they feel the socially acceptable Midwestern answer is. And we talk a little bit, and then we talk about where their higher power really stands. And being really able to identify with that is so important in your healing work. So I'm not here to judge anyone. Whatever someone tells me, I am going to take you at face value. Now, your energy, once I read that may tell me a little bit different. And I'm going to tell you what I see. Because a lot of us, we believe one thing about ourselves, we project yet another, and then people see even a third side of us. They see something differently. So my goal is to help people to feel seen and heard. There is no place here for judgment, for me to judge what another person does in their life. My goal is to be able to read your energy, to hold space for you so that you can see and take from that reading space the things that you need to go forward and make your life yours, to make it your path. I just want to kind of give you some sideboards there and help you to frame it sometimes. I did a recorded the podcast for next week with Kaylee Dutton, and Kaylee is gosh, I look up to her. I think she is amazing, and Kaylee has studied so many different things, and she's made them and formulated them into what she really uses for her clients, just like I have taken my years of experience as an intuitive, my training in shamanism and shadow work, my training as a theta healer, and I've pulled it all together, and I'm able to offer something that is uniquely me to help uniquely you. And that's what it's about. We talk, Kayla and I really talked about, what the role of guides, readers, healers, what our goal is. We're not fixers, we're not saviors. Um, we're not the people who know everything, but we help you to see the things that you need to see. We're steady hands and mirrors and guides for people. We can't actually fix it. We can't fix it. But we can provide other resources. I provide going live. I welcome anybody to um, comment if you want to come live with me, and we can chat. I would love to have that. I'm just giving you my input, my energy. I have also written some inspiration by my books. My first book is my story, Blooming into Life. The second book is Stepping into Power, and that's where uh, I tell more. I tell more of what it is and how to tune in to your skills so that you can really be a part of who you need to be. How you can just tap in to what you need to be doing to have a more satisfying life. And I think that that's really, really, really important. And then I took that a step further. Some of it comes down to my own learning styles. Um, Being dyslexic and dysgraphic, reading a book is not a lot of fun for me. But obviously, I read the books. I learn the information, and I've working to put things in a manner that's most consumable for people. And so that is where I did Stepping into Power. That's that book. And you probably remember me talking about, talking with the publisher and how different things are presented in the book, spacing, paragraphs, things like that, that to my uh, odd ADD brain really need to be set up a little bit differently. If you are not neurospicy, you're not going to see it. But for those of us who are a little neurospicy, I believe this is going to read better. And then to take it another step. At the end of each chapter, there's a space for some journaling, some interactions, some, think about what I just wrote. I took it a step further and I wrote Stepping into Power, the Reflection Guide. This is, it's an adult coloring book, folks. It is just, makes me happy every time I open it. The space that is in here in these pages. I want you to be able to come to this guide, and I want you to just open randomly to a page and do an activity. And then I want you to close the book, and I want you to really process and see, where did that hit you? Where was that a part of what you wanted to be? And how does that allow you to grow along there? And then, yes, I took it one step further. I have a community. There is a community. There's the Inner Knowing Collective and the Inner Knowing Circle. These are communities based on these books. They're also just a community. There's one that's a free community for you. It's on a platform that is it's a private platform. It's a safe community where you can come and discuss some of your ahas, go through the activities, and share with one another so that you know that you are not alone, and that heaviness you feel, we are all feeling it. And we're working on ways to help one another through that. And I know that that was one of the biggest things in Sarah putting together an evening at the garden this weekend. But before I talk about that, let's talk about my angel card today. This is the Angel of Joy. She's beautiful because she's a reminder that the journey is not, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, but it's also not all heavy. She reminds us that joy is coming from ourselves. it's not coming from another place or another burden. It comes from the joy that we create in ourselves. And this joy and this lightness that we create allows us to fly like the angels. So think of that joy that comes to you. And when you're ready for all of that, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be so awesome. Let me see. Thinking that Sarah might have been trying to log in, but she didn't. So I am going to go ahead and tell you, and I had this set up a minute ago. So let me share this for you. You for the night. We so the ticket will cover those three activities: the garden tour, the sound bath, and the candles. The other vendors will be there offering some crystals and healings, different things, and those will all be, dare I say, cash bar, so you can really connect with other people. And I know that it was Sarah's uh, intention to really let people know that you're not alone. You, there are guides out there to help you to get through this thing called life. To guide you through and to make things more possible, more feasible, and where you can um, really just get to know people. I think this is going to be awesome. And I can't wait to see you all there. It starts at 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock on Saturday in Salem. Check out Holistic Gypsy. Sarah has tickets on sale in advance there in Mount Pleasant. Um, if not, you can buy tickets at the gate, that is for sure. And if you're not wanting to participate in the sound bath and the other activities, you can still come to the event and get some healing on. See where you're at. Just kind of feel the vibe. And this is very different from Sarah's regular activity she does. Gypsy Fest. This is not Gypsy Fest. This is a night dedicated to the healing arts. So I look forward to seeing you all there tonight. Don Amalza and I are on Chronic Health Collective talking about, I'm going to forget the name of it, Disclosure Day, the new Steven Spielberg movie, Disclosure Day. Don has seen it. I had not, but we chatted about it, just kind of the concept of how things change. And are we ready for that? Are we ready to acknowledge everyone who is among us, possibly? Friday night we have Lady V coming on with the Chronically Healthy Life, talking about her ROAR method. It's pretty powerful. And again, those of us who have been through the fires of hell, and we've done our healing, and we continue to heal. You know, healers are people who are in the process themselves, and we're turning and shining our light on you. So you know how to connect with me through amandabethhealing.com. I'm also part of the Iowa Salt Pod. If you want to come and do your salt float, all the different things. Another business I started because I was working on my health. I was working on making me better, and I wanted to share. So that's the story behind the Iowa Salt Pod. So, yeah, I look forward to seeing you all. If nothing else, check in with me again next Tuesday when we do Transformation Tuesday live again.